Hello, and welcome again to another wonderful episode of the Chip on My Shoulder podcast. Thank you guys for coming and hanging out with me today. Still trying to get out of this heat. My big ass. Fat people, this isn't a fun time of year for us. It's never fun, but we did this to ourselves, let's be honest. But I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's being safe out there, enjoying. Stay inside and do what one of my favorite pastimes is. And that is playing video games. I love it. But unfortunately, today's rant, as much as I love this, is going to have to go out to video game companies today because I think most of them have lost their goddamn mind. I don't want to say the companies themselves. Some of them, yes. But I also think developers and publishers have gone the same way, too. Everybody obviously has been talking about the whole Nintendo Switch 2 thing, the ridiculous prices for the physical than the digital. It's more expensive for the physical copy than it is for the digital, which is outrageous. I think they're doing this to see if I think as Nintendo has, it's this thing where Nintendo knows they could do this because people are still going to buy their product. I think because they have a Nintendo name, whatever it is, people will rant, people will rave. There may be a dip in sales, but I think the increase in price is going to offgo the people that decide to say fuck it and not do it. I don't know. There was no release. Like the Mario Kart World was the only day one release. The rest are like remasters. They're all like how many? Okay, you guys have lost the fucking plot when it comes to remastered and remaking games. Let me start off with this. Okay, I mean we all know Sony and PlayStation is like Last of Us. Let's remaster that game 55 fucking times. Okay, and it's just like it's and I from a business standpoint. I get it for them. It's cheap. They just got to up the graphics a bit, smooth out some edges, and then they could sell the product that people had slowed down buying and say it's new or whatever. But people, I mean, it is. I don't know. My problem is when the corporate greed got into the gaming business. That's when the big wig corporates, when CEOs are like, I genuinely think how many people that run, because I think except for Nintendo, Microsoft and Sony, like their video game thing is just a department of their massive conglomeration. It makes them a lot of money, but it's just that's the game department. Sony, they have movies, music, TV stuff that they're doing a million things. Now Nintendo only does Nintendo shit. Nintendo's not just a department of a bigger, mega corporation. Or whatever. But as soon as the CEOs and those types of people from like other businesses that were traditionally, restaurant, you're not like own a restaurant group or CEOs of any like capital thing. They got into the video game thing because they saw there's a shit ton of money in it. It's a global thing. So the markets are unlimited everywhere, all over the world. And then they just decided to wring the fuck out of it, dude. Like it's hard for me to even I haven't remembered games in a while. And I know this may just be me but it's just like, the enjoyment of playing video games has seemed to have gone down tremendously. I think it's overall. I don't think it's just one thing or the other. And to be honest with you, I think streaming is not helping. Twitch and all of that stuff. I honestly think that may have as much as it may have opened up the minds of it. I think bringing in Twitch streaming and how much money that Twitch and all of that brought in kind of veered the decision-making of these corporate, entities that are running the video game department, and they try and veer games towards streaming. But what the big problem is these publishing houses where you see these companies that spend years. It's no different in the movie business. Like they'll spend 10 years, 50 million, 100 million, 200, $500 million on a game. And you see them release a product, and it is absolute shit. And I don't mean just shit like the game sucks. I mean, it's buggy, it breaks. It's not just like things like, oh, people didn't vibe with the general idea of the game, whatever. It was a swing and a miss. And then you see fucking indie companies with two people, at a fucking Chipotle making games like, Stardew Valley and all these things that are fucking massive hits. Because I think companies and these publishers are more worried about making games that look good than that are good. You know what I mean? It's like they'll just, I don't know. It just seems like they just want the idea of it looks good in a picture, but like they'll never They would rather have a glossy turd rather than like a really rough diamond. You know what I mean? And it makes no sense to me. It seems like they're just kind of shooting themselves in the foot. And look, I gotta be completely honest with you. I don't think they're in, especially like Bethesda and all of this and the amount of time like the Elder Scrolls game is supposed to be like. There's no reason that that game should not be out by now. You are the biggest studio, one of on the planet, with one of the biggest name recognitions too. And now you're owned by Xbox, you know, a big company, putting hundreds of, and you can get the best developers, the best like what is going on where all these something happens. I don't know if it's like the marketing team or the creative developer where you'll see somehow and they'll say stuff like, yeah, we were developing the game for 5 years, but then they came and said, no, we need to do this now. So we had to totally revamp the entire thing. And then you see, why did they revamp it? It wasn't for like a reason to make the game better. It was just, no, we wanted to squeeze this in so we could squeeze a microtransaction box in, or we wanted to have this so it'll go with a DLC that we could do later. Look, I'm firmly under the suspicion, we all have been talking about this, physical copies of shit are dying. They shouldn't be. And let me explain something to you. You shouldn't, if it's a key card, these things fucking irritate me. I don't understand the concept of it, where you're still going to sell a physical copy of a game, but you're not going to put the actual game on the copy. You're just giving the license to download said game from the marketplace. So this is a digital download. That's all this is. You're just putting a wrapper around and giving me a plastic case that's it's worthless. Because if I get the digital version, I get the key and the game on there, and it's all in one thing. I don't need to set like, ugh. And you know what I also think? I think video game companies hate the fact that there are third-party resellers. I'm a big video game guy. Jacob's a big video game guy. Jacob, you know, even works with, you know, selling and buying games and stuff like that. And I think they hate the fact that there's this big aftermarket of people that making good money. Some, you know, you can make really good money doing this. People fixing video games systems and reselling them, stuff like that. And now with the advent of the Switch 2, saying you can't have a repair or you can't have somebody go unless you send it in directly to them because they're worried about people, you know, pirating stuff or tampering, modding the device. Who gives a shit if they mod the device? You have the money. What's this integrity? You're going to lose the integrity if some zit-faced, you know, teenager posts a TikTok video about how he uploaded every GameCube game on the thing. I mean, it's like, I get that's what it was too. I think it's because they're like moving towards that. We want you to play our streaming classics thing, and they're one of the only few that can actually get away with it. By the way, Xbox, you tried to release a retro arcade games, they all fucking suck. They're all like Atari 2600 shit, like, and then like picture-based, those picture-based early computer games that are very clunky and stuff. But I went through the whole retro arcade, and I'm like, is there any game that wasn't made in like 1978 or on a handful of PCs in fucking 2001? And, you know, Nintendo has the carte blanche when it comes to retro games. They have all of their Nintendo classics. They have Sega as well. So all of that treasure trove of which what most of the majority of the retro games are. But I mean, God, I've never seen an industry turn on its people that consume it so much by just and then, you know, like when that pirate game came out from Ubisoft, he says people should get used to paying $70 because this is a quadruple A game. Oh, I'm sure you guys in the marketing department really worked fucking hard to really saying quadruple A. Just throw another A on it and all of a sudden that justifies it. You could say that about anything. God. And it sucks because as much as I love video games, there's very things that, you know, it just doesn't seem like it's going anywhere. I feel like this with a lot of products. I think we're getting past the point of when they're trying to make things better. They know people are in their camps for the most part. So in the video game terms, the Nintendo people, they like Nintendo. But Xbox people are going to be Xbox people. PC people are going to be PC people. PlayStation people are going to be PlayStation people. Even if the console sucks, even if the new one doesn't do it, that's their thing. It's the same thing with Android and iPhone. thing. It doesn't matter if the new product's out. The iPhone people are generally going to keep it because it's easier for them because their whole life is integrated. Same thing with Android people because that's their identity. So they've gotten past the point of where they're actually trying to compete with. Now, I will say, Xboxes, I don't know if you saw the new move that they did. They're going to partner with, I can't remember the company, for the new handheld that they're going to do. And now Xbox people are going to have access to Steam. So now the new Xbox, now it's not going to be as good as a full blown, PC that you spend 10,000, but it's going to be a very good console. And so now you get your Xbox exclusive games, which I don't know, maybe when Elder Scrolls comes out in 15 years, that the next Fallout, and then, that'll come out in 55 years. I mean, I don't know. But they're not trying to make it better. They know the people are going to be in their camps. But with this advent of the Steam Deck coming in which now you could play even PlayStation exclusives, I think it's like a year later or something like that. It's not immediate. Because in my opinion, PlayStation does have better exclusives, but that's just what it is. But I don't know. And they make it so much more difficult for people just to enjoy games. I don't know. I hate moving away from like something that I used to love so much, but it just seems like every time I try and get back on. And not only that, what is it with everybody who plays online thinks they're going to some fucking esports championship? I mean, like, God forbid you just and I understand like whether they have terms for it, sweaties, tryhards, and stuff like that, but like people get so fucking upset, like especially in team-based games like Marvel Rivals and stuff. I'd stop playing it. I mean, like, we're playing quick play matches and people are going fucking ape shit. Like they're trying to win gold at the fucking Olympics. Like this matters to them because that is their identity. Their ranking in whatever game, Overwatch or whatever, Rainbow Six Siege or whatever you play, their ranking is their identity because they spend so much time doing that. So if I'm in Diamond, if I'm in Platinum, if I'm in Grandmaster, if I'm in buttfuckery, whatever it is, this whatever class that they deem is better, so that because that's the only way they could be like, well, I'm better than you, but look at me, dude. I'm platinum. You're clearly gold, and I don't know. Like, when did gold become shit? All of a sudden, gold used to be the high standard, but now gold's like 5th place. They go like gold, platinum, grand platinum, grandmaster, then GM Firefly, and then embodied one above all. I like. Why do they keep adding these like? It's like weight classes in boxing. Like the titles, there's like 1,500 of them. Platinum, diamond, it's just like, okay, just chill out. If gold's now 4th place, then we need to change our whole fucking Olympic system. Okay? Anyway, I just think overall, these people have lost the plot. I feel like video game companies, I don't feel like when they're making these things anymore, they're like, we want to make a good game with a good story. We're just like, what can we make and still get the most money out of? Which I get. It's where we live in, buy for a nickel, sell for a dime. That's how the world works. But I don't know. I just hate seeing something that I love so much. I mean, same thing, you've seen with collecting cards and, with scalping and stuff. I've talked about that before. Just, I don't know where it's going to go. Is now the standard now for every Nintendo Switch game, $90 goddamn dollars, $80, which as expensive as that is, it's like, how are you going to, it's hard enough to buy, $60 games in brand new shit when it comes out. $70, we were like, okay, fair enough. We understand times have changed, an extra $10 on the side, give you a little extra scratch. But we were expecting at least good quality stuff coming with the extra. But like, don't sit here and claim you're giving better stuff. That's why we need to raise the price and then pump out shit. All right. But this is the gaming community. We are divided until somebody talks shit about the gaming community as a whole. And then we come together, talk shit about that person. Like when Hillary Clinton was talking shit about video games, trying to cause, and they were like, no, fuck you, dude. And then they went back to calling 12-year-olds pieces of shit in racist terms. I mean, man, do you remember those early days on like Xbox Live in the early, 2004, 2005, back on those Call of Duties? It was rancid. Oh, the things I've heard people say, I mean, the most outwardly racist shit. I mean, I saw a guy, his gamer tag was patio ape. Because he couldn't write the real thing because they did have like the filters to say that pull out racist shit. But people, they find a way around. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like they went out of their way. Like, oh, God forbid if you were sitting quietly in a lobby and then you heard a smoke detector alarm go off. Oh, poor guy. I felt so bad for black people in the early 2000s, those, mid 2000s lobbies. It was so bad. Being in those lobbies was like what I imagine like what it was like for black people walking around back in like the 30s and 40s. Like you walk into a wrong neighborhood and these white people go off on you. Man, how they allowed that. They're good. They're better about it now, but you still hear that shit all the time. But those early Xbox lobbies, this is the shit people would say. Some of those people are cops now. So you know. Some of those people are cops, and I got to be completely honest with you. I don't know if their feelings have changed. I really don't know. Because they know that's the end all be all. You could say, like, even if you get the shit kicked out of you by this guy, this dude wipes the floor with you. If you just drop that racial slur, that it's not about winning anymore. Now it's just some big racial argument. God, yeah, a lot of people should have lost their jobs, but a lot of people. God, I miss it. I do. For what it was my time. It was our golden era. I mean, I think some black people around my age would probably say that too. But, times change. We move on. We live life. We have kids. And we have chips. Today, I'm super excited. Now, as most of my friends may know, my favorite chip, my ultimate workhorse chip is the good old-fashioned hot Cheeto. They made a movie about it and the comings of that from a humble janitor up to now, I don't know, running a branch or division of Frito-Lay or whoever. Yeah, Frito-Lay. The hot Cheeto is my favorite thing. I love it. Always got the limon ones. Love them. The regular ones. Anyone, throw them on me. A Hispanic buddy of mine put me on to putting some Valentina on top of hot Cheetos. A little tip for you guys at home, for you gringos out there. Give it a try. It's fantastic. There's a million things you could do with them. But another thing that I love, and I get hit or miss reaction, is I'm a huge fan of dill pickle. I love a good pickle. I've never looked gayer in my life than when I'm sucking on a giant dill pickle. But it is one of the most beautiful things ever. Love them on burgers, sandwiches. I'll just eat them raw. I could eat like 4 or 5 pickles, like the big ones too. I even get the ones that have like the spice, a little tapatio from like gas stations or something like that because I'm very healthy. But I love a good pickle. So when I saw this product, naturally, I got jazzed up. Okay, I got real excited. Today's fare is none other than the dill pickle hot Cheeto. I'm very excited about this. The second I saw this, I was like, God was listening to me. Now, I got to be honest with you. I'm skeptical as much as I love both of these. I've been burned by dill pickle flavored things before. Sometimes it's too much, and because that dill pickle zest, it's a lot. It's a lot. So you got to be careful. Okay. But so we got the nice green bag, the Flamin Hot Dill Pickle. So I'm going to crack this bad boy open, and we're going to see if it was worth the hype. I'm very excited about this. All right. First glance, they look good. Look like your regular hot Cheetos. Nothing fancy on that side. I'm getting a big smell of the pickle. Not so much of the hot Cheeto flavor. I'm getting a big pickle smell. But let's give this a go. Let's find one in here. Let's find a good one. We got this. All right. We got our little mace window of the looks like a little club from the Middle Ages. But we're going to go ahead and crack into these bad boys. Let's see how they are. Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Got that zest. You immediately get the hot. You taste the pickle immediately. The pickle's at the forefront of the flavor. All right. And then you do get that spice in the back. I feel a spice, but I don't feel the spice. It's like the hot Cheeto flavored spice. Maybe it's because the dill pickle zestiness is covering it up, and I'm only getting the after effects. Or maybe there's no air conditioning on in this house, in my apartment because we're filming this episode and it's 150,000 degrees outside today. And I already got a little bead of sweat on my big old white forehead. But yeah, so initially I'm getting, yeah, I don't get too much of the hot Cheeto flavor. I get the spice from the hot Cheeto, but it's mostly the dill pickle flavor going forward. So let's give it one more. Go numero dos. Yeah, to me it just it's just a crunchy, spicy dill pickle. You get more of the zest. Like I said, you get the zest of the dill pickle, but you get that little back end heat from the hot Cheeto. But you don't get as much of the hot Cheeto flavor. It's much more dill pickle forward. But I don't mind this. This is actually not bad. I'm actually going to go in for one more. I'm going to give it just a third time's a charm scoop. Mm, not a bad. So if you're a fan of dill pickles, I would say go for this, and you're fan of Flamin' Hot. Now I don't think you could do with these what you do with all the other Flamin' Hots. You know, the people who can like put zhuzh it up. They put like ground beef. They put a million nacho cheese, delicious shit. I don't know if you do the same because it would kind of take away from, because it's not you want that hot Cheeto flavor with it more so than a dill pickle. But my pickle lovers out there, this is not a bad one. I would definitely snack on this again. Chester Cheeto holding a Cheeto on the front that's on fire. Oh, that's not for advertising. That's so you know if you get lost in the woods, these literally are flammable and could save your life. Yeah, I mean Doritos, you could. Yeah, Doritos. They actually, guy makes survival videos, and you can light a Dorito on fire, and it's actually a really good fire starter. So if any of you fat fucks out there get lost in the woods, grab that bag of Cool Ranch, grab your closest Bic, start yourself a nice cozy fire. But this is good. This is not bad. I like to be honest with you, I still prefer my classic regular hot Cheetos over this because it's more like I don't want a dill pickle flavored something every time. But I'm giving these a solid 3-3. These are pretty good. These are pretty good. Like I said, the Cheeto is my workhorse chip. That's a solid thing, but I'm gonna give these a 3.3, 3.4, right around there. I'd say go give them again. I would definitely go out and grab another bag of these if I finish these off. I see them, but I wouldn't consider these an everyday chip for me. You know what I mean? Like it's a little too much sometimes with a dill pickle. I love pickles as much, but sometimes I don't. But I also don't want to turn into one of those hot Cheeto girls. You know what I mean? You guys remember those people in high school? They are all dead or in jail now. Oh, those girls. I don't. I don't know what it was about the hot Cheeto. I mean, we all talked about it. It was like a nationwide, but especially here in Phoenix, because no disrespect, we have a large Hispanic population, like hot Cheetos. But every day, I'd come into my photo class my senior year, and there was just this girl would literally fill her like purse full. We have a thing. I went to North Canyon High School, and our mascot is a rattlesnake. We're the Rattlers, whatever. So they had a little store in the back, right? We called it the Snake Pit, and it had just little chips and tchotchkes, stuff like that. You know, pretzels and cheese, sodas, candies, whatever, for a couple bucks that kids can go in between class or at lunch or whatever and go grab stuff. And this girl every fucking day came in literally with like 8. She bought up all of the hot Cheetos, and she would just be eating them in the middle of like the class. Like the teacher's trying to like explain something out. I'm just hearing. The most ratchet shit I've ever seen in my life. And she was white too. And she was acting like she was all ghetto and stuff. It bothered me. The most disrespect. I don't know what it is about young teenage girls with hot Cheetos are the mean girls. Okay? If there's any high school boys listening to me, you see those girls walking through the halls with a bag of hot Cheetos, you steer clear. That bitch is liable to jab you in the dick with something, okay? The second she gets that opportunity. I love it too, and that's what also I love about the Hispanic community. They always put. Sorry, I don't know if that's the best transition, but like they always like to put hot and spicy things on shit that normal people like wouldn't. Like they look at a mango, right, and they're like, "Oh, mango's delicious. Who doesn't love a good mango? You know what I mean? Mangoes are good for you, sweet." But they look at it, they're like, "We need to put some fucking chili powder on this shit." They do it, and it's good. Same thing with like watermelon. I never ate a watermelon like this needs tahini. Like I never thought that, but they think of it. God bless them. They take that sweet and spicy shit. Like you go to a candy aisle in a like a Mexican candy aisle. It's like watermelon chili mango pops. You're like, what the fuck? What's wrong with goddamn strawberry, dude? Like I wanted something simple. I didn't need my mouth to be coated in this shit. Be careful of those hot Cheeto girls too. They fight. They fight. There's a good possibility that they could have a knife on their person at any point. And most likely, they're probably dating somebody who already graduated high school and they should not be having sex with. Those girls always have like a 20, 21-year-old boyfriend. And I don't know. It turns out I like these guys are going to end up tricking you out or something. They're going to just do some horrible shit. Like, why are you dealing with this? And then they eat hot Cheetos to soothe their pain away. Okay. But anyway, thank you guys so much again for coming and hanging out with us today on this podcast. Again, we'll thank the good people at Frito-Lay and Hot Cheeto, Flamin Hot Dill Pickle. Like I said, we're going to go 3-4 on this one. It's a good chip. I would definitely get it again. Not an everyday one, but I enjoy the flavor of it. So please go out, give it a try. If there's ever a chip or anything like that you want me to review, let me know. Drop it in the comments. I'll go. If you have a rant you want me to talk shit about or something that most likely will probably feel the same way. I have a feeling knowing you people. Message and a comment below. I'd be more than happy to help. Nothing else. You guys stay cool out there. Love you all. See you later.